You thought surviving the apocalypse meant avoiding the dead. It doesn't. The dead are simple. They wander. They groan. They follow sound. They only want one thing. People are harder. People lie. People panic. People build systems. And inside the walls of a survivor compound, survival has levels. At the bottom, you beg to be allowed in. In the middle, you enforce rules you barely understand. At the top, you decide who gets to live another day, and who gets pushed back outside the gate. This is your life as every rank in a zombie survivor compound. Level 1. The Gate Beggar. You arrive at the compound just before sunset. The walls are made of stacked shipping containers and scrap metal. Barbed wire hangs like thorns across the top. Behind the walls, you hear generators humming. You smell cooked food, real food. Your stomach tightens. You knock on the metal gate. At first, nothing happens. Then a small metal window slides open. 2 eyes stare at you. Step back. You do. They shine a flashlight across your arms, across your neck, across your face, looking for bites, looking for infection. Sit by the fence, the voice says. You wait there. That's when you notice the others. A dozen people already sitting outside the compound wall, some wrapped in blankets, some staring at the ground, some whispering to themselves. Nobody talks to you. You learn the rule quickly. Nobody gets inside immediately. The compound makes newcomers wait. 3 days, 3 nights. If you show symptoms, they shoot you. If you panic, they push you away. If you survive the waiting, they might let you in. At night you hear the sounds from the trees. Low dragging footsteps. Breathing that isn't quite breathing. Sometimes the guards shoot into the darkness. Sometimes they don't. You don't sleep much, because you realize something important. The zombies aren't the only thing outside the walls. Desperate people are too. And desperate people are worse. Level 2. The Fence Cleaner. On the 4th morning, they open the gate. You step inside. For the first time in weeks, you feel something close to relief. That feeling lasts about 5 minutes. Because they immediately give you a job. You clean the fence. Every morning the outer barricades are covered with what the infected leave behind. Clothes, backpacks, tools. Sometimes things that used to belong to people. Your job is simple. Strip the fence, sort what's useful, burn the rest. You wear gloves made from duct tape and old fabric. You learn quickly not to look too closely at the faces caught in the wire. The compound has a rule. Everything useful gets collected. Batteries, knives, shoes, medicine. You even check pockets. Sometimes you find family photos. Nobody keeps those. They go straight into the fire. Because if you keep them, you start remembering what the world used to look like, and that makes survival harder. You sleep in a crowded warehouse with 40 other new arrivals. Thin blankets, cold concrete, 1 meal a day, but you're inside the walls, and that already makes you luckier than most. Level 3. The Runner. After a few weeks, someone notices you work hard. You get promoted. Now you're a runner. That means you carry messages and supplies between different parts of the compound. It sounds simple, but this is the first time you see how the compound really works. The place isn't one community, it's sections. The family block, the worker barracks, the infirmary, the guard towers, and a place nobody talks about much. Leadership row, where the compound council lives. Each section feels like a different world. In the family block, people whisper quietly and keep their doors shut. In the worker barracks, arguments break out over food portions. In the infirmary, people stare through glass windows while doctors watch them for infection. And Leadership row has clean floors, private rooms, and lights that stay on all night. You start to realize something strange. The apocalypse didn't erase hierarchy, it rebuilt it, faster than anyone expected. Level 4. The Forager. Eventually they give you a weapon, a rusted rifle. That means you're leaving the walls. You're a forager now. Every morning a small team opens the gate and slips into the ruins of the old city. Your mission is simple. Bring back anything useful. Canned food, medicine, fuel, tools. Every building feels like a trap. Silence hangs in the air like fog. Sometimes you find abandoned homes frozen in time. Coffee cups still sitting on kitchen counters. Family photos still hanging on the walls. You search quickly. You take what you need. You leave before the noise attracts attention. There's another rule for foragers. Everything you find belongs to the compound. You hand it all over when you return. Sometimes you notice something strange. Certain supplies never seem to run out in leadership row. Coffee, soap, canned fruit. But nobody talks about that, because the people who question supply shortages don't stay foragers long. Level 5. The Night Watch. You survive enough supply runs that they trust you with something worse. Night Watch. You guard the walls. Midnight to sunrise. The compound looks different at night. Quieter, but more tense. Every shadow outside the fence feels alive. Sometimes shapes move along the tree line. Sometimes you hear voices, actual voices, begging, calling for help. There's a rule every guard learns quickly. Never answer voices outside the wall after midnight, because sometimes it's not survivors calling, and sometimes it is survivors. But opening the gate risks everything. So the rule exists for a reason. You sit in the tower with a rifle across your knees, listening, waiting, trying not to imagine what's walking out there in the dark. Level 6. The Collector. Eventually you get pulled off night duty. You become a collector. The compound runs on rations, food shares, fuel shares, medical allotments. Every week you go door to door collecting the compound's taxes. Everyone hates collectors. Because you represent the system, you see things most people don't. Hidden food stashes, illegal trading, people hoarding medicine. The black market exists everywhere. People trade batteries for antibiotics, ammo for blankets, secrets for favors, and every time you confiscate something, you tell yourself it's for survival. But part of you knows the truth. The system isn't just about survival anymore. It's about control. Level 7. The Enforcer. Collectors who don't hesitate become enforcers. That's the next step. Now you settle disputes. You break up fights. You enforce compound law. The rules are strange. Steal food, half rations for a month. Start a riot, 3 days in the holding cages. Refuse compound orders. Exile outside the gate. Everyone fears exile, because once you leave the walls, nobody opens the gate again. You begin to understand how the compound stays stable. Fear. Not unity, not hope. Fear. Level 8. The Quartermaster. One day the council calls you to leadership row. You're being reassigned. Quartermaster Assistant. Now you control supply rooms, ration counts, ammo inventories, medicine cabinets. This is where you see the real numbers. And the numbers tell a different story. Food isn't as scarce as people believe. Fuel reserves are larger than reported. Medicine exists that most of the compound will never see. You realize something disturbing. Scarcity is sometimes exaggerated, because hungry people obey faster. Worried people ask fewer questions. Panic keeps order, and order keeps leadership in charge. For the first time, you start wondering whether the compound is protecting people or managing them. Level 9. Inner Circle Guard. Eventually you're trusted with the final step before leadership. Inner Circle Guard. You protect the council members themselves. You escort them between meetings. You hear conversations that ordinary survivors never will. And one night, you learn the truth. The compound has an evacuation plan. Hidden vehicles, hidden fuel, a safe location far from the infected zones. But the plan only includes a small number of people. The council, their guards, certain specialists, doctors, engineers. Not everyone, not even close. The compound was never meant to save everyone. It was meant to filter, to decide who was valuable enough to survive the next phase. And suddenly, every decision you've enforced feels heavier. Level 10. The Compound Leader. One day the council shrinks. Illness, accidents, disputes. In a broken world, power changes hands quickly. And somehow, you end up sitting at the table. Now you are the one making decisions. Who gets food when supplies run low? Who receives medicine? Who gets assigned to dangerous runs? Who gets exiled? The compound depends on order. Order depends on control. And control depends on choices nobody wants to make. Every morning you give speeches about unity, hope, survival. Every night you approve decisions that quietly remove people from the system. Because the truth you learn too late is simple. The zombies destroyed the world, but survival rebuilt something else. A hierarchy, a machine. a system that decides human value. And now, you're the one running it. At the beginning, you believed the walls were there to keep the dead out. But after climbing every rank inside the compound, you understand the real purpose of the walls. They were never just protection, they were containment, keeping the living trapped inside a system they helped build, and outside the walls, the dead are still waiting. But inside the compound, people have become something far more complicated and far more dangerous.